What's up, YouTube? Jaee here, and I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the love on the VHS content that I've been posting out for the last 2 months. Recently, my video just hit 200K, which is pretty cool because like that video was purely made by the heart. Like if anybody's a YouTube content creator, they understand like sometimes you do videos and you think they're gonna blow up and then they don't. This is one of the videos where I'm like, I just want to talk about it and end up blowing up. I do know that we have newer subscribers or newer viewers. If so, if you like VHS, this is the place you want to be. I've been playing the media build for quite a while. Actually, I haven't been playing for almost a week and I'm having withdrawals, and I'm assuming because the beta is very spoon, which is awesome because the 70 hours I did, 69 hours, whatever, give or take, that I did put in, I got to try out almost everything in the media build, whatever. So if you're wondering how is he playing it, I got invited, and so far, you know, I haven't been playing for a week, and I'll tell you, the addiction is kind of hitting me hard. Like I want to play so badly. In this video, I'm going to talk about the weapons. Now, it's going to be kind of hard for me to make examples just because I don't have gameplay of every weapon, but I would try my best to get every weapon so you can see a little bit. So for each weapon, I'm going to give you my opinions on why these weapons are good for these monsters. Now, technically, obviously, every weapon works against a monster, but for me playing, again, I have about like 69 hours. I know, funny, right? Whatever. And I feel like I have a good knowledge of which weapons are good against certain monsters. So on the top right, you'll see a little icon of the monsters that I feel that it works best with. So let's start off with the burn. From my experience, Flamethrower is probably one of the most frustrating weapons, but we have given a lot of feedback towards it. So I'm excited to see what the new one feels like, because the old one, while it was still manageable, it was kind of difficult because it had like this second, like late second charge, like to shoot it to, I guess, ignite it. But I'm assuming the new one, when it comes out, it's gonna be way better. It was never like, oh, it's impossible to use it. It was just, it was a lot harder to use compared to the Molotov. But the Flamethrower is probably one of the best for kiting. Now, if you don't know what kiting means, it's basically going back and forth and keeping the opponent away from you while still applying some pressure to it. So if you play like a lot of games like League of Legends, where you're just always going back and forth tapping, it's like a hit, run, hit, run, hit, run.
The term kiting has to do with inputting movement commands between your auto attacks. This allows you to create distance while still doing damage.
The Flamethrower is one of the best ones, and I think it's one of the best for against Wart, because Wart has a leap ability. You can stop it with the Flamethrower by just tapping his leap, and it actually stops him from continuing the leap. It's one of the best kiting weapons in the game. I'm excited for the new changes that it's going to have. Now, the second one we're going to talk about is one of my most favorite weapons in the game. It's the firebomb, Molotov. Now, just a heads up, ignore the numbers on them. It doesn't mean that you unlock these at level 2. It means the progression on the weapon itself. Now, the Molotov is good against every monster in the game. I really think that it's by far the best fire weapon. It's unfortunate that you don't get it right off the bat. This is going to be the second weapon you unlock. So you have to work your way by using the Flamethrower to get the Molotov. And then later on, you can use a mod to give you 2 Molotovs, which, you know, if you haven't seen that gameplay of that, I'll leave a top right of the YouTube card for my second game I played. It's a fun weapon to use. You can get some crazy half court, half the distance plays with it. I've got some crazy plays with it. Obviously, with the firebomb, you're only allowed to have 1, and the crafting speed is about 35 seconds, which is not that long. Don't forget, with the firebomb, you can also use it to trap monsters. As you can tell right here, Dowsy got trapped. Other ways to do it is to get out in sticky situations. Right here, you see Sean taking off. Firebomb is one of the weapons where you can use to block out monsters, such as like in this instance right here, where I'm trying to get the book and I hear the doll coming and I just throw it to block the doorway. This other instance is where you see me dancing in the fire against the doll. The doll, if the doll would have leaped, it would have burned it 100%. It's like a huge radius of it. Like, there's no way the doll would have hit me. So if you're ever gonna miss, make sure to run towards it. It gives you a couple seconds to reset, but also it could lead a different pathway for you to leave and get away most times. I've done that so many times where I miss. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna run towards it and, you know, buy some time, because I'd rather waste his time than give him a free hit right off the bat. But the best tip I can give you, just don't think you can throw it like right off the bat, like that. It does take about a second. So if anything, like, you need to think ahead of it in a way where, like, you're like, oh, it's like, say for instance, a monster hits you and you run away. Do you have a chance to throw it? Kind of depends, not really against werewolf. I think it's this one, if anything, the werewolf is kind of like the one that you should watch out for, because werewolf is really fast, especially when he berserks. So just be on the lookout for that, but it's still possible to get on the werewolf. Now, the very last one is the solar flare. This one is kind of difficult to use just because it's a very defensive weapon. I think it's by far the best defensive weapon in the game right now, because you can't really get a kill off of it unless somehow, like, because again, you gotta understand, I play against these devs, so trying to use this weapon was really difficult. I got a couple kills, but if anything, you're gonna have to work with your teammates to get a stun and then pull it out and then use your solar flare on the monster. Now, it's really good against the doll masters, especially against the dolls, because the dolls have to look at it and it wastes their time, because if you guys don't know, the little dolls have a timer of how much they could be in their, like, the doll master could be in the dolls. So this helps out a lot, and I feel like it's one of the best weapons to pick up your teammates. The way the monster has to fight against it is stare at it, which is funny, right? I was like, wait, so the monster just stares at it? So obviously the monster, all it has to do is just look at it and it starts draining your solar flare. But I feel that this is really good against doll masters. The other two, kind of, not really, but I still, in my opinion, I will choose over the Molotov, over the Flamethrower. This is going to be one of the weapons that I'm not going to be using a lot, but I'm going to try to make some plays with it, obviously, whenever the game comes out. But again, one of the best against is for doll master. It's not really good against the werewolf, because the werewolf can howl you. Say for instance, the werewolf is howling and you're underneath it. It doesn't work against you, because you need to push the button of whatever your keybind is to activate it. So if the werewolf howls at you, you're obviously not going to be able to use it. But I've seen some crazy plays where somebody was on the other side of the room and they didn't get howl, and they said, hey, he's pushing me, and they killed the werewolf, because the werewolf thought the person underneath it was the person using it, but it wasn't. It was a funny play. Oh, I forgot who got it, but it was a great showcasing of the game. So when to activate the solar flare, I believe when the monster is in it, it will turn white, meaning that now you have to go to activate it. If the solar flare does not turn white, I believe that means they're outside the radius and it won't hurt them. So just be on the lookout for that. So, you know, this weapon is very defensive. It's not offense. You can use it for offense if somebody stuns the monster and you push in with it. The next stigma we're going to be going over is shock. Right off the bat, the first weapon you get is a ray gun. If anything, this was my most favorite weapon at the beginning of the game when I started playing, because I don't know, it's something about just pew pew, it just sounds like, you know, Star Wars. I don't know, when I first had it, I just fell in love with it. But the more I got to play against like better players, it's one of the hardest weapons to land, especially because certain monsters like werewolf, which I'm going to put on the bottom, it's one of the weapons that it's good if you're good at it, but against experienced monsters, it's going to be quite difficult. So I feel like this is best against wart, and then for medium, I'm going to put for doll master and werewolf, only because the doll master, the little dolls, if you didn't see my other video, they were really hard to hit. So shooting a ray gun on the dolls is really difficult. Not to mention, you're going to have 28 shots, which, you know, that I think that's enough. But let me tell you, from experience, 28 shots, you're like, oh, that's enough. But like after one round, you're like, shit, I'm down to like 12. What happened? Because like it drains fast. But I feel like this is one of the best also kiting weapons. We talked about that in our flamethrower. It's one of the weapons that you see right here where Kyle was just able to tap, and you know that's gonna piss off a lot of monsters, but that's just really good play style to play, because that means you're slowing down the killer. Like the killer's gonna down you or kill you or whatever, but as long as you're buying time for your teammates, it's one of the best weapons out there. Not to mention, I feel like there's another weapon we'll talk about, the sword. This and the sword, the ray gun, are one of the best to save teammates with, because they're long range. I mean, it says right here 40 meters. That's pretty far from a lot of other weapons that you can use on this game. So I've saved so many people because they're like, I'm pushing up, I need help, and I just start pre-firing, and then it stops the monster from chasing. So I feel like while it does have downs against like certain monsters, it's still a great weapon if you just know how to master it. All right, the next one, the RC Flyer, one of my favorite ones, which, you know, I did use. I think there was like 1 week where I used it for like quite a while and I fell in love with it, but then I started trying to figure out going back to the ray gun. The ray gun's always the old reliable, but the RC Flyer is one of the best ones. This is really good against like all monsters. Like it's one of the best. But for instance, if you're outside the howl, I do believe that the RC Flyer doesn't get stunned. Like the RC Flyer doesn't disappear because you're nowhere near the werewolf. So it's still one of the best against all of them. Not to mention, the monsters do have a way to counter it. The monsters have to hit it. So a lot of monsters that play against RC Flyers are always hiding behind doors. So just a quick tip, what I usually do is bait them, and then they start lunging, and then I start pre-firing. Some monsters don't fall for that. So what I do, I just go straight. Like I just hold W, I just hold straight, and then I do like a 180, and then I start shooting them behind the doors. And I've caught in like so many monsters with that. So it all depends of how you're gonna play with this. One thing you have to remember, that with the weapon like RC Flyer and the Eye, your body is stuck into one place while you're taking control of the weapon, rather if it's the RC Flyer or the Eye. So the monster can find you and he can hear you because it is really loud. With the RC Flyer, it sounds like, you know, like a loud remote control that's just pushing buttons. So the monster can hurt you and can kill you. You're not invincible. So just be on the lookout. So make sure whenever you take off with the RC Flyer or the Eye that you're in a good hiding spot. So once you start firing a weapon, you are decreasing your charge time, which has up to 55 seconds. You can get across the map with this, but just know once you start firing it, your energy is going to be low on it already. So yeah, so just be on the lookout. It's a great weapon, but the downside to it is that monsters are going to hear it, and depending what monsters, I think if anything, this is probably the best against werewolf if you're outside the, I guess, the tension loop of his music and his howl or whatever. Then I feel like this is the weapon like really good against werewolf. I've caught in a lot of werewolves with this, and a lot of people have gotten pissed because of it. With the RC Flyer, don't forget that it's one of the weapons that is really good from far range, but when you're getting pushed, like in this clip where TechSmith is getting pushed, it's not good to just, you know, go like 10 feet and pull out your RC Flyer. It is possible, but it's also really hard comparing to like somebody like the Doll Masters, whose dolls are very small. They're really hard to hit and they jump around like crazy. So just be aware that this is a weapon that you really need to think about and strategize and hide your body really well, because if not, you're gonna get down. Now, the very last weapon you do get into shock is the Shock Sphere. This one by far is one of the best weapons in the game. I would probably put it top 3. The downside to it is that you need to go to 3 fuse boxes and charge it. Now, the monster can hear you charge it up. While it does have a shorter crafting time, you have to remember that you're wasting a lot of time going for the charges. Not to mention, if there's another teammate that has it, they're taking away your charges away. So it's one of the weapons that has been showcased a lot. Another downside to it is that once you're in the Shock Sphere, you cannot hear anything.
Where'd he go? Right here. I got him. Oh, damn. You got him. Get him. Don't get him. No. Don't get it.
You can't hear the monsters. You can't hear the pings. I do believe you can hear the pings. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure you can't hear anything. Obviously, you can still hear your teammates if you're on voice comms or whatever. But it is still one of the strongest weapons. It's a one-shot move. That's what it is. But just be on the lookout for Wart, because Wart can counter it with his armor. I also do want to mention, while you are in the Shock Sphere, you are a little bit faster than the monster, but you're also draining your energy of it as well. You can also use this to get away from the monster. I've done it multiple times, but it's more effective if you use it in an offensive way. But if you have no choice, then use it as a defensive getting away. Like in this clip, what you see from the early gameplay from the devs, you can see that Brandon was using it to attack the monster first, but then he noticed like, hey, I don't know how long this Wart's gonna have his shield up, backs away, and then does a reverse no you, coming back at the monster because he had enough energy. don't forget that there is also a high chance of when you are getting pushed by the monster that you are going to be very vulnerable because the charge time does take a while. So we're going to go to the Purify, and let me just say this. The cross, and you heard it here first, again, this is me. There's different opinions, but I think the cross is by far the best weapon in the game. Now, hear me out. It's not my favorite weapon, but I think it's the best weapon in the game, and here's why. It has a really good range, up to 7 meters, has a regular crafting time to 42 seconds. If not, this is the reason why. It's the easiest weapon in the game. You literally just hold it up, boom, and send the monster away. That's all you need to do. Like, you could say the same thing with a flamethrower, but no, the flamethrower actually takes a while to figure out how to get it right. The cross is literally boom, pick it up, that's it, boom, gone, done. It's good against all the monsters. Like, it's the best one that you get a value for. So if you're on the crafting station and you need like an old reliable weapon, for sure, cross is the best one. It's really good against the dolls because it literally locks on them like it's nothing. The next weapon is the Holy Slingshot. Now, this one is second on my list of favorite weapons, and here's why. You can get a lot of crazy plays with this. I think with this, I'm going to show a lot of people how to use it, because if you played any Halo games, it's basically the sticky bomb. That's what it is. It's just a sticky bomb. So if you're a big fan of sticky bomb, then yeah, obviously go with this. For the slingshot in this clip, you can tell what they were trying to do. What I always do is you want to put it ahead or somewhere where you can run towards and be safe for a couple seconds, because in the clip you saw like they were trying to run towards it, so then it has that AoE effect where like if the monster gets close, he starts getting damaged on him. So you can use this to like even block a doorway for the monster. I've done it a ton of times. My best thing I've done, I hope one day somebody does it for like a clip and they send it to me. Do it. What I did once is on library, you shoot it at the window and then you vault it, and then they have to go all the way around, and I got so much distance because I was able to get up top and hit him with the slingshot, because I gave him so much trouble to go all the way around. It was a waste shot, but I ended up getting the second shot in a way. But just it shows the potential of what the slingshot can do, not just hitting your shots, but just actually blocking doorways, helping out friends from far distance. That's why it's like probably my second most favorite weapon in the game. The thing about it is that you do get 2 shots, but let me tell you, they run out like instant. Like, you're like, what the hell? Like, I did 42 seconds of crafting, now I have nothing. It does have a AoE effect, so if I hit it on the wall and the monster runs by it, it's gonna damage him the longer he stays in it. So another weapon later we'll talk, the sword does have an AoE, so the longer they're in it, they're damaging him. But I've gotten some crazy plays where like I literally put it on the ceiling and I ran away and the monster couldn't push in, while I could have just tried to aim it at him. But then again, I rather get distance than try to go for a gutsy shot and miss, and then he just downs me. So it's also a good way to make crazy plays. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It sucks that we can't showcase anything. I'm sorry, Chad. But hey, at least I know for sure the beta's close, because they haven't been talking to us. And that means for sure, like, they're almost ready. Now, the very last weapon that you unlock is the staff. Now, the staff is gonna... I'm telling you, it's gonna be like one of those times where like you see somebody craft it and you're just like, why did you make it? Because it's a weapon that, while it's great, if you don't get any value out of it, it could turn around, that it could literally ruin the game. Because the way it works is that you need to charge it by somebody being injured. Now, it says if all living teens are healthy, it will start energizing itself. Like, it is slow, like very slow, but it gets the job done. There are certain mods, like if you watch Jaee, he used a mod where it injured himself and you can charge it. Now, the problem with that is that, if the monster hears it or the monster sees it, he's gonna know that you're at a holy station and he'll make his way over there. Now, this is by far, again, opinions, this is by far the best stun weapon. So if you guys don't know, once you complete a stigma, you can still make it, you can still, like, say for instance, the staff. I killed him with a staff. You can still make another staff, but it's gonna stun him. Staff is also one of like the craziest weapons to use if you're looking for something to get distance from. It's probably the best, I would say, kiting weapon. You know, there's other weapons as well, but I think it's the best and the most easiest one, because what you're looking right here is TechSmith playing against a dev, and you see the difference between how much of this dev knowing that he can get away with it because he knows the range. The range is crazy on this weapon. You have no idea. And what TechSmith and other monster players are going to have to understand, if you continue this chase, you're going to mess up. And TechSmith ended up playing I guess the wrong way. He should have armored up and just waited. And that's the thing about monsters. Like, you have to understand, you have to wait for your cooldowns to make a good push again. And it cost TechSmith a stigma, as you can tell. He died. And also, one of the benefits of it that is you can heal yourself with it. So if you're injured, I've got this technique from Kenzo, who does this a lot. I always ask Kenzo, I'm like, Kenzo, is like this staff your favorite weapon? Because I always see you crafted. He's like, no, I'm just, you know, half the time I'm injured, so I'm always just making a staff just because, you know, it makes sense. Why go to a mecha station while you can make a staff and heal yourself and also now have a stun weapon? So if you're one of the smart players and you're like, I guess I'll go to the staff, but just be alert, because, you know, if it's still an active stigma, meaning that you haven't completed it, the monster most likely is going to make his way to that, you know, station of the crafting station. Now to the very final stigma. My favorite class is the curse. My favorite weapon, the curse sword. Why is it my favorite weapon? It's one of the best kiting weapons in the game. Well, it's funny because the devs would tell you that I was bitching about this weapon for like a week. I hated this weapon when it first came out because I didn't understand it. But once I kept on practicing and practicing with it, I'm like, oh my god, this weapon is by far the best weapon in the game. For me, again, opinions, but here's why. Like, say for instance, we have the staff we just talked about, and the monster's pushing me. I don't have enough charges. It's not active. I need to heal somebody. I'm gonna go down because I don't have an active weapon. Guess what weapon is active? The sword. How many swings does it have? 10 swings. Not only that, you can save your teammate with the sword from a very far distance. There's been so many plays where, like, they were calling out, I'm in courtyard on the school, which is basically the middle of the map. I run towards it and I'm like, run to the door, and I throw a swing. It literally goes across the whole map. I think it does. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it go into the full court in the basketball court. So it's a far range. I think that if a monster's pushing you, you just swing it, boom, swing it, boom. You just, like, it's basically always back and forth. And I love it because while there's other weapons that are good, this one, I just feel like you get the huge value out of it. Just be aware for wart players. This goes for almost any weapon against wart, but especially for sword, because wart can eat up your weapon. But I don't know what it is. Something about using sword against the devs. They just like eating up your weapon with their armor. So in this clip, you'll hear Brandon says, I'm not giving you, like, you know, the full whatever, because he's not gonna give the 2 strikes against wart that eats up the armor.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not giving
does
you
he
the
have
full
easy
thing.
break? He
Yeah.
might have easy break. Yeah.
It does.
It makes sense why you wouldn't do it. So just be on the lookout, because a lot of war players will eat up a lot of your weapons on purpose to continue the chase, and it takes away your weapon. So my best advice, and please do this, is just take the hit, or just keep on kiting him with one after one after one. If you get nervous and you start swinging at all of them, he's just going to eat up the armor and you're going to go down, or you're going to take a hit. So it's better just to take the hit and then continue off to another area and then try to find another angle to kill the monster. But just saying, watch out for war players that like to eat up your weapons. The problem with it that a lot of people are going to have is that it takes 2 swings to kill the monster. But that's the dev saying that. I feel like it's always 3. And here's why. The longer the monster is in the radius of the sword, the faster it kills him. So if I do 1 swing and he's like fully in it, it's not going to kill him. It's going to get him to like 90%. So if I throw a second swing and it lands on top of him, then obviously that's a kill. But I feel like the technique I've been doing is the V cut. And now what's the V cut? So basically how you use this weapon is you do a V, left, right, middle. So you cut it like a V. You can go right, left, middle, because what you're doing is you're trapping the monster like that. So he has nowhere to go. A smart monster will usually probably just start moonwalking back, But if I start seeing that, then I start turning my body around and start, you know, doing it basically like a side slash. So it's one of the best weapons in the game. By far my favorite one. And the cool weapon skins they have for it is so badass. The second one you unlock is the Eternal Eye. Now, this weapon is by far the longest one that takes to use because it's just how balance reasons. It's one of the easiest to kill the monster, but it's just like the Shock Sphere. The Eye and the Shock Sphere are similar towards where you can't hear anything. So this one is going to be required by teammates to help you out, pinging on voice comms saying like, hey, where do we go? Where's the monster? And the monster can hear it from a pretty good far distance. So I think it's good against all the monsters, but I especially think that it's good against Dollmasters. Any Dollmaster player would tell you that they hate the Eye because, again, by the time you think about it, right, the Dollmaster gets a notification if somebody's coming by close with the weapon, but by the time he gets out of that, the Eye's already in front of him and he doesn't have a chance to teleport most times because, like, he's like, oh shit, he has to look at a direction, he needs to teleport. So this is especially good against Dollmaster. If you're in the radius of like the werewolf who can howl, it stuns you out. But again, just remember, it's the weapon that requires the most charge up time to set it off. Not to mention, this weapon has a lot of cool skins that I can't wait for you guys to see. But by far, this is one of the weapons, I think it's one of the most fun ones. But for me, I don't like it. It's not my playstyle because, again, I rather have the sword. But my friend Granny, she loves this weapon and everybody knows her as the Enigma main. So the way it works is that when you're in the tension loop of the monster, you have to hide and charge it. But if you get a good vision and a lock on the monster, it charges it faster. The monster can hear it, but slightly. Like, it's very, like, you'll hear like it's like a weird hum. It's like a weird, it's not like a whisper, it's like a weird little hum, but it's very faint. But the monster can't hear you if you're hiding behind a bush or something like that. And the crafting time is shorter. A lot of these weapons that have shorter crafting times is because you need to charge them. Shock Sphere, Staff, and Enigma, they all need some type of like time to put some time into it. The best way to use the Enigma is never feel that you're too short. It has a huge range, and I'm not even joking. From the clips you're seeing right now, it has a very long range. To compare what Kenzo did right here, where he messed up and where Tex-Mex was able to leap and get up close to him, it's very good from a far distance. So don't ever feel like, oh, I'm not close enough. I'm telling you, 12 meters doesn't seem that much, but it's a far reach. So it's a great weapon. I just don't prefer it just because I like to get into action. I like to help out my teams. But if you're one of those sneaky players, I think this is going to be best for you. But if you guys are excited for the VHS beta, don't forget to like the video. Again, leave your thoughts below. Which weapon do you think you're going to main? Again, very situational depending on how the game is. Not hashtag ad. I'm just excited. I've never been passionate about a game like this in a very long time. I don't even remember the last game I was passionate about, but this one, I really think it could go high. I really think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I do have concerns, but you know, like they're like minor concerns like everybody else. Like, what if the servers are bad, or what if, you know, this and that? But these devs truly love their game and they want the best for their game. So that itself already, I feel a little bit more safe. But yeah, thank you guys again. Beta very spoon. Take care.